So it's really an interesting, exciting year this time around. It's about 2020 is about actually within the context of numerology, which is the science of knowing self, knowing the reality that self is in as it permeates through numbers. Um, we're going to look at the context of what this month's chart every month, so every day has a chart, basically, whether it's an astrological chart or this time around a numeric chart. So let's jump into what is this year in the context, what it's about. So the card of 2020 overall is within a cycle of two. The cycle of two is associated with diplomacy, is associated with um, harmony, is associated with others, associated with collaborations, and with, I would say, with the aspect of seeing the two sides of every interaction or every, I would say, uh, person or reality or an opinion. Everything has two domains, and the cycle of two can in one hand can enhance and create more harmony, but it also can create more conflicting situations or people stucking into their position and not willing to even agree in the midst of disagreement, because any disagreement has a part that we can agree on as well. So this is overall what this year is about. So on the positive pole, it's a year to connect and collaborate and listen. There's a lot to be done, there's a lot to create, and it provides us the opportunity to create a structure and form for the months to come, for the next 7 years to come. It's actually provide us an opportunity to actually envision a greater plan for ourselves and as well as for others. So this is some of the context of 2020. So in general, we all have to have some sort of understanding and a plan at hand. We have to have some sort of like ability to create a structure and a plan for us to work with. Without any plan or parameters, it can create more conflicting notions, or issues of trust will come up because two is associated with trust. There's also the aspect to bring the aspect of the longing to belong, and longing to belong is first to self, because when one accept self fully, one is fully belong. So the longing to belong to or to accept is there. A two is a cycle about relationships. So everything gonna move through relationship and through collaborators or collaborating. And everything that is not in the realm of collaboration will be challenging or will fall to the sideline. So it's time to build new connections with others, as well as create a notion of collaboration, of the act of collaboration. So cycle of two, which is this year, is about avoiding conflict. It's always, as I said before, it's about finding the areas that we can agree on, finding what are the areas that we can actually agree on. Um, and the other thing is, within that, any relationship or any attachment to relationship that are not relevant will have to be re-examined. And there's nothing to be harsh about it, but some relationships we're holding on to and nothing happens around them. And this is the time actually to re-examine these relationships or those relationships and actually let go of relationships that are no longer relevant to the journey or to the experience either that we're in or that we want to create in our lives. So in that domain, a lot of people will show up at this point in time from the past, or a lot of notions from the past will come to the present moment in terms of showing up to see if they still fit within this current time cycle. So in the year 2020, there will be a lot of attachments or people, especially in the area of the relationship, that will show up from the past. And the thing is, it's not necessarily to repel them, but just kind of observe that experience that's coming from the past and make a choice whether you want to maintain it or you want to actually say farewell to that experience and create the room for other collaboration and relationships to fill the space. Now, January is always a month where there is, within its weekly time cycles, you're going to have a preview of how the year will be experienced. I'm going to repeat this. So January is a really interesting month where it give us a preview of how the year can be experienced, or what, let's put it differently, or what we need to put in place so we can actually start to build some sort of like channels or tracks of experiences and choices that we would like to acquire through the coming months. So just overall, a little bit about January, and I mean, the opening screen was January, creative neurosis, because it's a highly creative month. Um, and within the creative months, I'm showing now a different slide of seen and unseen reality. So every month, every year, the seen and unseen reality. So January has a seen reality of 3 and unseen reality of 5. So let's talk a little bit about the seen reality. So January, in general, is very impulsive. It's highly social month, highly creative, highly charged by some worry too, because when you're creative or creative people that have all these 3s in their chart, they can be overly concerned about the social impact of their creativity or the social feedback from others. So it's mainly going to be social on one hand, but also it's a month that we overly worry about what other people think. Within a year, that it's all, the whole context of the year is about relationship. So this month can be experienced as impulsive, it can be experienced as overly noisy, socially overly consumed by other people's needs as well. So, but also very creative. A lot of new project, new ideas, and this is like where it comes in January. A lot of new creative ideas and creative aspirations coming in right now. They're coming in right now. And we need to actually start to manage them in some shape or form so we can actually make sense of all these different ideas and notions. So, in one hand, the main advice within a cycle of 3, which is January, within the context of being very social and relationship oriented, is really to take time and have pause for self-care, for self-reflection, pausing between the noise of social engagement or the impulsive behavior to take care of things. It's really important months to kind of take a break a little bit in between our engagement or between our prep work for the coming months. Some of us here on the call are entrepreneurs. We have always a to-do list. We're always behind things. So even in the behind thing is always kind of to pause a little bit and kind of reflect and rearrange what is important, what is the goals and criteria that are really crucial at this point in time. The thing is with the 3, it's also about food, it's about nurturing. So it's learning to nurture self and take care of ourselves so we can actually be engaged and fully engage other people as well. The first rule is like we need to fill our own cup or nurture ourselves so we can nurture others. So that's really important. So now the unseen reality is a 5, and a 5 has to do with the physical body, has to do with physical environment, travel, short travel this time. So it's just like another energy that actually is activated this year. And that 5 associated with the need to take care of our physical body, our physical environment, to be much more communicative and assertive when it comes to exchanging ideas, not to assume that people understand exactly what we want them to get, but to really have the fortitude to communicate well. Now, when we look at January or the starting of the counting of the weeks, there's 5 weeks in January. So when these 5 weeks, there is really different energy that each week will unfold. So the first week of January, which already is behind us, was a creative spark, was an impulsive beginning. It's like, okay, time to get going here. Yeah, we had all the holidays. We went through New Year's Eve. We kind of make the shift. It's time to take the helm again and kind of generate creatively for the coming weeks, the coming months. So it could have been felt a little bit impulsive. It could have been felt with a little bit more anxiety. And the whole month is about that creative spark beyond just that first week. So it can feel sometimes really exciting, exhilarating, impulsive, um, and at times it can feel like being worrisome about, is this is a good idea or is this a good interaction, and so on. So first week creative stuff with the whole context of the whole month as a creative month. Now within a creative notion, new ideas, new seeds, new beginning, it's not the time to actually act on these new ideas and new seeds and new beginning, it's time to aggregate them. It's time to actually look at the different projects on our plate, see what is are the pros and cons associated with these creative ideas, measure what we need to take on, and and not necessarily act on our creative project, but more put them in a sense of order, put them in a sense of structure, and kind of see what will be the steps to act on these new ideas that we want to take on as we begin the year. So that's the first week. Second week, which we are in right now, is within that cycle of two, within a year of two. So within that cycle of two, within this whole year of relationship and collaboration and trust, it's really kind of observing is like, okay, who are my true collaborators right now? Who is the people that I actually can trust and can take me to a different experience in the coming year or the coming months? So who is relevant? I said that before. And people that, like, you may find out that people that we worked even for years, coming this week, coming this year, they're no longer actually relevant in the sense of where we want to head or what the choices we want to make at this point in time. So we need to kind of say, okay, I need to find some new friends, or I need to find some new collaborators. The third week has to do with physical change, has to do with movement beyond the anxious moment. And what I mean by that, it's about movement of our body. It's about changing our physical environment to more to our liking. It may be, for some of us, it will be moving to an or stepping out of our home, maybe temporarily traveling or driving or staying with other friends in some other places, and kind of changing our physical environment. So when it comes to physical change or change, it has to do with something shifted in terms of like what we would like to see in our world. And it can create some sort of a little bit of anxiety or a notion of, what do I do with these changes that I want to create in my life, and how can I make them practical? Week 4 this month has to do with the family, has to do with home, has to do with community, has to do with agreements. Within the context of creativity or creative project, it's like looking more at the realm of the team, of what kind of team do I need to have my projects or creative idea be fully supported and manifested, and what kind of agreements I need to create around that. That's really important. And week 5 is about a slight tweaking of what we call the creative notion of things. It's basically creating a little bit of a kind of adjustment. It's kind of inner tweaking, or inner. It's more internal. Week 5 this month, and it is associated with looking at what do we need to do to actually create tangible plan to support our creative ideas and notions. Now, I'm going to take each week within this month and look at it through goal setting. So the first thing within goal setting this year has to do with creating clarity about our three main intentions for the year. We have a lot of things going on, so it's really a great opportunity. The first thing to do is like, what is important to me right now in my life, and what am I willing to invest time and resources to actually create or to fuel these intentions and desires. This is really important, because if one does not have the clarity of idea of what we're about and what we want to create, we would not attract the right collaborators, which this year is all about collaboration. We would not attract the right collaborators to support our projects and businesses and relationships. So this is the first thing. And some of us, especially creative people, has tons of different ideas, tons of different notions. So in the realm of business coaching, which I do provide, and that's why I like to work with creative people, I actually encourage creative entrepreneurs to actually pare down the 2 to 3 important things that are important to them in their business. Because most creative people have 6 different ideas about what they would like to create with their business, or they have 6 aspects of different businesses that they would like to generate. And it's not about the creative essence at this point in time. It's about creating really clarity of intention of what one would like to create, what one would really like to bring to form and function, and what kind of resources and support one will need for these 1 or 2 ideas. So that's one thing. That's where I would say anyone at this point in time need to start. Get clear about what is really important. Like things that are like 40% in your desire, you like them like a hobby or things like that, they need to put to the sideline. Now, the second thing is, who are my true collaborators? Who, if none, if you don't have anyone in mind, then it's really a good time to define what kind of support you need at this point in time, what kind of interactions you would like to have. And I would say in any of these questions, you want to write down exactly what you would like to create in the area of collaborations and the area of, I would say, creative interaction. What kind of people you would like to work with, what kind of clients you really serve. Really describe them as detailed as you can, because otherwise you will get things that are not actually aligned with your desire or your intention. You will get collaborators that are based on the past, that are based on, I would say, past experiences. Because here's the thing, within collaboration or relationships, unless we actually create some sort of frequency of what we really desire within ourselves, we will invite the frequency that we already experienced. The third question or goal setting is, what kind of change I would like to have? Because change is here. So we may as well define what does it look like. I'm not saying that exactly you're going to get it, but when we actually started to define the parameters and the experiences of change, and what kind of expansion and growth and what kind of experiences we would like to have, we will more likely to attract those experiences and create these sense of reality as it permeates through something that we already project out. So really be detailed about what kind of experiences and what kind of parameters you would like to have. And this is for the coming year. And within this coming year, what kind of change? I would say also, since it's a year that is going to move through relationships and through collaboration, it's also to have these aspects of change permeate through what kind of collaborations you would like to have in the coming months, if not years. The four aspect is like, here's the thing, there is a four in this year, and four has to do with planning. Four has to do with creating a structure around our ideas, around our team and support. So the thing is with home is a really important aspect. It's an important aspect this year. And I would say within goal setting is like, is your home or where you at right now is to your liking? And the question needs to be asked, is it the right place for me to be in? Is it secure enough? Is it inspiring enough? Is it inviting the collaboration that I would like to create in my life? Home can be also the office as well. And the aspect of home is also in terms of our base, what kind of base we would like to create for ourselves so we can actually attract the right collaborations and the right projects into our vicinity and to our area of interaction as well. Because this year is also the home, and home, I mean, it can be office, the home, the group, the team, the family is in the background as well this year. So the aspect is like, who's longing to belong. So longing to belong to self, but also longing to belong to a group, to a team, to a sense of home that you feel nurtured and supported by. And this month, the nurturing aspect, which is like the number 3, is very active as well. So sharing food together is really good. It's a good time to do that. It's also a great time to upgrade our nutritional awareness, as well as upgrade our form of expression, whether it's in a craft of art, or it's in language, or it's in creating events, because 3 has to do with expression. So I would say the question for home is like, is my home base is a good base for my self-expression or what I want to express in the world? Is it to my liking? Goal setting number 5 is to go back to the other 4 goals and redefine them, re-examine them, make them clearer, make them a one line of language, make them something that can stick to our psyche and memory. It's really a very important component to just get. It's like when somebody create a sculpture. It's like you chiseling through it till it's formed to something that is really clear. It's the same thing with a vision, and January is about creating a clear vision. creating clear idea about our direction, notion, and what we would like to form in our universe. 2 is creating a good sense of what kind of support we need. 3 is creating what kind of physical environment we need. 4, what kind of base and team or community we need around us. And overall, what will be the plan around it? How can we break it down to, I would say, 3 steps, each goal, 3 steps that we can move things forward. So I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. I think some of you got what this month is about. The thing is, with this month, I will tell you that it will be much more favorable, for instance, to take charge or start your big project, or let's say you want to start a new business. It's much better to start it in February around a clear plan and basically clear steps that actually you would like to create. January is sort of like the drawing board. It can be messy. It can be I would say unfocused at time. It can be impulsive. It can be very creative. It can be worrisome. It can be 20 ideas that we don't know what to decide. And it's much better to kind of write all of these information and write all the data down and create a plan that can make sense and start to execute it in February. I'm going to talk a little bit about 2 other things coming up. One is the Code 2020. It's a forecast, trend, and application for the whole year. I'm doing it second time this in 2 weeks. A place called Sage and Stone in Marin. And it's a live lecture with a lowdown of a lot of information about the year, the trends, geopolitical situation, what are the challenges and the benefits as well. So that's one quick thing. The other thing is coming up is actually a certificate program that it's a numerology certificate program. I've been certifying numerologist the past 15 years on an individual basis. This is a group-based program, and it's over 6 months where we're going to actually go through 11 modules of the science of, I call it everyday or tantric numerology, and how to relate to the numeric code of things, how to apply it to time cycle, how to apply it to a chart, how to apply it to people's, I would say, psychological or psyche profile, and basically how to apply it also to a time cycle and to a strategy as well. There's a lot to learn, because in numerology there is numeric values to every personality, and every personality has also what we call significant numbers and qualities that layered on top. And through a chart, you can actually understand what is the motivation of someone, what is the choice-making process someone is more likely to work with, and so on. And then also based on our birth date, it's like you have the clocking of time, so we can actually configure what is the cycle of time that somebody's going through, monthly, weekly, and daily. You can go up to the day, because if you think about it, every day has a different chart or a different configuration. So this program starts on the 17th of February, and there's 20% off through the end of January. And I would actually invite you to have a conversation with me around that. If you have like any interest about it, it's not gonna cost you anything. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's see if it's something that will suit you or something that will benefit you. And that's my webinar for today. I usually like, I mean, I don't know if anyone have any question at this point in time. You can type it, or there was some question. Okay. So, I mean, I just see now some questions. Okay. So about the 1 to 5. So here's the good thing about this whole webinar. It's recorded, so it's going to be on Everyday Numerology. It's going to be on the group site, and you can listen to it again, and basically, um, I would say, write down what resonate for you. Okay. Thank you so much for being on this call, and I hope to see you soon.